Hello, this is video 5.1, part 1, ratios, rates, and complex fractions. So on here, what I need for you to do is to make sure you have this handout, and if you don't have it, you can find it on my PowerSchool website. Download a PDF copy from there, and when you're ready to continue, press play. Please pause now. Okay, so let's take a look at the upper left box. And here we have 3 vocabulary words. So we're going to look at the word ratio. So I want you to write, is a comparison of 2 numbers. And usually we write the ratio either with a colon notation, so A to B with the colon, or we write it as A over B, and we just say A to B. Now for the next vocabulary word, we have rate. And with rates, you always, these are ratios with different units, and you always want to label rates. Okay, ratios you don't have to label, but rates you always want to label because the 2 numbers will be of different units. So an example of a rate would be something like $2.50 to 10 pencils. Now the third vocabulary word is a unit rate. On unit rates is a special kind of rate expressed as a quantity of 1. And you always want to label unit rates. So for instance, here are some examples. $5.50 per shirt. Okay, so that per shirt means that makes it a unit rate because you have dollars right here and then you have per shirt. Okay, and then for the next unit rate we have 60 miles per hour. So those are your 2 units. Okay, so now let's take a look at the upper right where problems 1 and 2, it says simplify the ratio. So here we have 27 to 18. So for this ratio, what you always want to do is put the first number on top. I'd like to write them as fractions, and then the second number will go on the bottom. And then you look to see what can be divided into 27 and 18, and those are both divisible by 9. So you could have used 3 also, but 9 is bigger. And so I'm going to divide by 9, and so now my ratio, it's going to be 3 to 2. Okay, so this is your answer. Now you never want to make it a mixed number. So if you say, okay, well that's 1.5, that would be marked wrong because that is not a comparison of 2 numbers. You always want to leave your answer as a number on top over a number on the bottom. Okay, so now let's take a look at problem 2. We have 60:15. So again, I like to write it in fraction form. So first number will go on top. Oops, sorry, that is not my pen. There we go, 60. Second number will go on the bottom, 15. Okay, and both of these are divisible by 5, but they are also divisible by 15. So I'm going to go ahead and divide them both by 15. And then that's going to leave it 4 over 1. So you want to leave it 4 over 1. You do not want to make it a whole number, okay, because that, again, is not a comparison of 2 numbers. You want to leave it as 4 to 1. And with ratios, we don't have to label it. We just simplify them. Now for the next 2 problems down below, it'll say express as a unit rate. Okay, so unit rates are where we do labels. So here we have 270 students, 9 teachers. So we are going to put 270 students on the top. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and abbreviate for now. That's not much of an abbreviation. I just left out the E. Okay, and then we have 9 teachers. I'll abbreviate that one a little bit better. There we go. And then we're going to, for unit rates, you can actually divide them, and you're going to want to figure out how much it is for 1 per teacher, for 1 teacher. So you're just going to divide them, 270 divided by 9. So for your notes, let's just write it like this, okay? So you write 270 divided by 9. And remember, you can use a calculator for these problems. This one, it comes out to be 30. So you do want to simplify it, and you can make these mixed numbers or whole numbers because you're going to label it. So I'm going to put here students. Okay, I'm running out of room per teacher. And I could have used the slash instead of PER, but I didn't this time. Or you can write out PER instead of the slash. All right, so now let's take a look at the fourth problem, We have 450 for 9 erasers. Now on these, when we're talking about money, they're called a unit price, how much it is for one item. So again, usually the money is going to go on top, okay? And we are going to divide, so I'll put 9 erasers, okay? So then you would just divide 4.50 divided by 9, okay? And again, you could use a calculator, and here you're going to get 0.50, or 0.5 is what the calculator will say, but since it's money, you put another 0 after the 5, so it's 50 cents. And then you're going to write per eraser. So for this one, I'll put a little slash. Okay, and so this is the unit price or the unit rate. Okay, and this is a good time for our secret code word. And what I want you to do is write, actually, you're going to write the word pencil. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. You're going to write the word pencil down here. Okay, that's your secret code word. And you could put that like, circle the word pencil. So that way I know you're listening to this video. Now let's take a look at the bottom left, and on the bottom left here we have rates with fractions. And here in the box is when writing a rate, follow the order of the words. So for number 5, it's going to say, well, it says it takes 1/4 of an hour to run 1.5 miles. Write in miles per hour. So we're going to write the rate as miles per hour. So this is what I mean to follow the order of the words. So 1.5 miles, okay, that's going to be, I'm sorry, not 1.5, but 1.5, we're going to use fractions. 1.5 miles, and then we have 1/4 of an hour, So we're going to have 1 1/2. This is how you would see it in a textbook, okay, over 1/4 of an hour. Okay, this is what we call a complex fraction. So here I want you to write here that this is called the complex fraction. I abbreviated fraction here. And all that means is that you have a fraction on the numerator or on the denominator, or you have it on both. So in this case, there's a fraction in both the numerator and the denominator. It doesn't make the problem any harder. It just looks complex. So the way we would write this is we would write it horizontally. We would write 1.5 divided by 1/4, and then we would use what we know about dividing fractions. We would make the first mixed number improper, so always make any mixed number or whole number improper. So I'm going to write it like this, okay? And then when we're dividing fractions, that's when you do keep, change, flip. So I'm going to put KCF in red. Okay, so now this is going to become 3/2 times 4/1, okay? And then we're going to cross cancel to make our numbers a little bit smaller, and then we have our answer is going to be 3 times 2, which is 6, and then it's going to be over 1, so I don't need the 1. But then we label it, and so our label, remember, it's miles over hour, so it's miles per hour, and the abbreviation for that is MPH. So this is the unit rate. Okay, let's try it again for this one. A truck used 2/3 of a gallon per half an hour, and then it says write in gallons per hour. So again, gallons per hour. That shows you how to set up your fractions. So we have our two numbers are 2/3 of a gallon per half hour. Okay, so our gallons, again, we're going to write 2/3. Okay, so I put 2/3, I'm going to abbreviate gallon, over 1/2 of an hour. So there's our complex fraction. And then we're just going to write it as a horizontal division problem. So 2/3 divided by 1/2. Okay, and neither one is a mixed number or whole number, so I can just go straight to keep change flip. So you keep the first fraction, you times, and then you flip. All right, and I cannot cross cancel here, so you're just going to multiply across. And now we have this, and then this one you definitely want to make it a mixed number because we're going to label it. So it's going to be 1 1/3. And then again, we're going to label this gallons per hour. So I'm just going to write here gallons and then slash hour. Okay, and then we'll box our answer. And that's all for your notes. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.